Meet the G37 2.0. It's about the same weight, has the same guts, same size, and yet the Q50 is a little bit faster and more luxurious. Don't believe us? Ask ChatGPT, it will tell you the same thing. The G series is about as cheap as it's going to be, while on the other hand, the Q series is progressively getting more and more affordable. Don't be surprised if these become one of the best bang for your buck entry-level driver's cars. If and when these become a staple of your local takeover, they are going to need some aftermarket wheels so they look better hitting that crowd. So that's what we are talking about today. This fitment guide will look at all types of fitment for the Q50 years 2014 to 2024. This includes all trim levels, rear-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive, although all-wheel drive models do have some special considerations, issues basically, that we'll get to in a minute. Now, as always, we're starting with the basics. 5-on-114 lug pattern, M12x1.25 lug thread, 66.1 center bore, and 80 feet-pounds of torque. All the vital numbers above are the same as the G37 and every Nissan and Infiniti basically ever made, meaning you have plenty of options to choose from, over 100,000 on our website to be exact. Now, if you drive an all-wheel drive Q50, most of the fitment info you'll find, whether it be from here, your local Facebook group, the forums, or your buddies, will be on rear-wheel drive cars. This is fine, but before you copy someone's fitment one-to-one, you need to ensure that the rolling diameter, meaning the overall diameter of the wheel and tire combination, is within 2% front to rear. This is all in the tire size. Staggered setups are fine as long as the total tire height is within a 2% differential front to back. Keep this in mind, as not all setups here will work with all-wheel drive, and you will blow up your transfer case if you run the wrong one. Now, the second issue here is with lowering all-wheel drive cars. This is a problem unique to this platform. Basically, the front axles will give you grief if you lower your car more than like an inch. This is down to the Q50 axles not being long enough to stay properly seated in the front differential when the car is lowered. Complications range from vibrations and noise, which can be annoying, up to axles literally falling out of the diff or breaking. The solution here is selling your car and buying a rear-wheel drive. It's swapping your Q50 axles for ones that are longer from a Nissan Infiniti with a wider wheelbase. The most popular option is an OEM unit from the MX56 to the Q70. There are other options that work as well. You can also look into axle spacers to give you a little bit more length if needed. There's not a one-size-fits-all solution, as it does depend on your ride height and specific setup. Now, another consideration here, if your Q has an AKEBONO brake package, i.e. the sport models, or you're planning on retrofitting some good luck fitting any cool wheels, you'll need to be mindful of wheel caliper clearance. Nothing is worse than trying to bolt on some fresh new wheels just to have them hit the brake caliper. The 14-inch AKEBONOs that come in these cars are exactly the same as the 350Z and G37, and they are huge. Pro tip, if you're researching whether a particular wheel will clear the brakes, you can start with the Z or G forums, or just text a fitment expert using the link on our website. You're likely to find the info on the Z or G forums more so than the Q forums, as most people have tried every combination of wheels on those cars. Before that, though, there's even better resources. We put together a list of popular wheels that either pass or fail that's going to be linked down below. Also, if you have access to the wheels in question, you could cut out a template that we've linked in the description as well to check clearance. Now, we're going to get into some examples here, and the first one we're looking at is a Q50 sedan. This one's on XXR 559s, 19x8.5 plus 20 with 255/40 Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. This one is on stock suspension. It's not lowered at all, and there's no rubbing or scrubbing of any kind. Most of the cars that we're going to see in this guide are lowered in one way or another, but we had to give you guys one example that is bone stock. If you want a comfortable daily driver without doing anything else, this one's for you. It's a rear-wheel drive Q50 rocking XXR 559 wheels. Note that this setup would also obviously work on all-wheel drive cars. The wheels are only 8.5 inches wide, but can still fit a 255/40 tire. This is about as wide as you can go without stepping up to a 9 or 9.5 inch wide wheel. And do you really need to go any wider? Probably not, unless you have a built VR30, but at that point you probably have aftermarket suspension. This is not show-stopping fitment, but it's not the point. It looks and performs a lot better than stock, and this is a great setup if you just want to bolt on some wheels to make the car look better. From here on out, all the cars are going to be on springs, coils, air suspension, so just bear that in mind. This next Q is sitting on a set of KANSEI KNP 19x9.5 plus 35 with the 235/40 Falcon tire, 19x10.5 plus 35 in the rear with the 275/40 Falcon tire, and it is lowered on BC Racing coilovers, which you can get right down here in the description below. This does rub a little bit on bumps, but it's the first staggered setup we're looking at, and it's what should come to mind when you think of rear-wheel drive Nissan or Infiniti, and the Q is no different. This 21 Q50s on KANSEI KNPs, 9.5s in the front, 10.5s in the rear. 1 inch wider front and rear is standard on this platform. Like the wheels, the tires are also different front to rear. As we can see from the side profile, these do give the car a little bit of forward rake. As you might expect, this is a no-go for all-wheel drive cars due to the tire size. To make this suitable for all-wheel drive or just more symmetrical, you could run run a 265/35 rear tire instead. This car is lowered about 1 inch on BC Racing coilovers, which are one of the best for this platform, and there are no fender modifications needed. However, the tires do occasionally rub on large bumps, which is a consideration if that's unacceptable to you. Next up, we've got some Work VSTX 20x9.5 plus 36 with Michelin PS4S 255/35/20, 20x10.5 plus 32, 285/30/20, lowered on RSR Super Down lowering springs. Qs are decently sized sedans, making 20-inch wheels look right at home. Once again, these are staggered and the specs are more or less the same as the last, just with 20s in lieu of 19s. In my opinion, they look a lot better on a car that's lowered. This 2019 Q is on RSR Super Down lowering springs, which give a decent drop. Not much more to say about the fitment here. This car has no rubbing issues and looks pretty darn good. Now we've got some Work in Motion T7R 19x9.5 plus 25s wrapped up in hand-cooked Ventus V12 255/35/19 tires, running the same setup in the front and the rear. This one's lowered again on BC Racing coilovers, no surprise there, again one of the best options for this platform, and does have slightly pulled fenders. This Q50S has great specs if you're seeking perfectly flush fitment. The specs are 19x9.5 plus 25 with a 255/35 tire. It's a sport model, so we can confirm that the T7Rs in this width and offset will clear the AKEBONO caliper without the need for spacers. With a tire this wide, it is a snug fit. The fenders did need to be slightly massaged to prevent any rubbing. The convenient thing is these cars come with pre-rolled fenders. The only way though to get some extra space is to pull the fenders as this car needed. As it stands, there is zero rubbing according to the owner. How do you like your JDM sedan? Slammed with aggressive fitment? Well, it would appear so, as most of the Qs in our vehicle gallery are slammed on air. Here are some of our top picks and their respective setups. First up, we've got some VELGENS Classic 5 V2s 20x9.5 plus 32 with hand-cooked Ventus V12 255/35, and then a 20x10.5 plus 45 in the rear with 285/30 tires. This one is bagged on Airlift Performance 3P and has Megan Racing control arms. 20s on these cars look good with a modest drop as we saw before, so no doubt they look even better when absolutely dumped on air suspension. These specs are similar to what we've already shown for 20s, but when dropped this low, they're pretty tucked due to the natural camber on the Q platform. There are lots of air kits on the market for this car. This one's on an Airlift Performance kit, which you can grab down below as well. To go with the bags, it has adjustable control arms to dial in that camber. Now we've got some AVANT GARDE AG F121 19x11 plus 10 with 245/35/19 Falcon Azenis tires, and a 19x11 plus 10 with a 245/35 tire in the rear, bagged again on Airlift Performance, pulled fenders, no rubbing when it's aired up. If you're looking for aggressive fitment to go with your bags, this one might fit the bill. The specs on the AVANT GARDE F421 wheels here are 19x11 plus 10 with 245/35 tires, most aggressive fitment we've seen so far. This is a square setup, meaning yes, in theory, it would work on your all-wheel drive Q, though you would definitely need longer front axles and probably spacers to go with them at this height. It all depends where your car is going to be riding when it's aired up, but you don't want to have your axles pop out or hyperextend when you air it out, so you have to consider both your ride height and your aired out fitment. Now we've got some 18s, WEDS LXZ 18x10.5 plus 6 with Federal 595 235/40 18 tires. This one's bagged again on Airlift Performance, 18x11 plus 12 LXZs in the rear with a 245/35 tire. This is what 18s look like on a bagged Q. Federal 595 are a popular option in the stance scene for two reasons. They stretch well and they run 8mm wide. This car has 235/40 on a 10.5 and 245/35 on an 11, and these are not rookie stretch numbers. This fitment is similar to the last and will need aftermarket control arms to dial in the camber and toe, although you should probably budget for these if you're doing an air build anyway. As we can see, this car has more camber than you would get from just lowering, and the arms are what allow it to achieve that. Now we've got some Work REZAX 2s 19x12 plus 6, Sumitomo 245/35 tires, 19x12 plus 14 out back, same 245/35 tires, wide body front fenders on this one, pulled rears, custom air suspension setup. This is a Q50 Red Sport, and it takes the cake for being the most aggressive we've seen. 12 plus 6 up front and 12 plus 14 out back with 245/35s all around. The secret sauce here is those wide body front fenders, making it possible to fit those 12-inch Work REZAX wheels. Impressively, the owner also managed to get 12-inch wide wheels on the stock rear metal, a testament to how wide you can go with pulled fenders and enough camber on the Q platform. There are a lot of bagged Q50s in our gallery. All of these examples are sourced straight from there, and if you have one, you should add it to our gallery using the link down below. Be sure to check out all these cars in our gallery for more details and photos, or if you want to see even more, head over to our website to browse thousands of cars in our vehicle gallery or add your own to help others dial in their fitment. Whatever type of fitment you want for your Q50, we showed you some examples in this guide, and you can pick up the wheels and tires to achieve this on our website. Wheels are one of those things that can make or break an entire build, and hopefully this gets you started in the right direction and make your Q look and perform the way that you want. Whatever direction you go, stance car, track car, we've got the parts to make it happen. Of course, this means wheels and tires, but did you know we carry suspension and performance parts as well? 3piece.us is the place to go for your entire build. We've got you covered. We've got some crazy Black Friday deals coming up if you're watching this around Black Friday. Otherwise, sorry you missed them. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, hit the like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment down below, hit the bell icon to turn on notifications, upload your car to our vehicle gallery, check out the full guide, links down below, and I'll see you in the next one.